is the other option where you try to push the Kennen and say, hey, Kennen, you're always going to just go get involved in the lane. That's fine, Zika. I don't care. I'm going to be off in a side lane pushing through towers. I agree, though. I very much prefer what Weibo have been able to build for themselves.
You sold me at that point, right? So it is worth mentioning, though, pairing into that top lane conversation, that this is the one lane where I would expect Weibo to be a lot more comfortable, but Zika gets trapped in the play place early, has to burn the lightning rush, and nearly had a flash away from Bin, who had a solo kill as we go over to the other solo lane. Xiaohu gets seismic shoved right back into Knight, has to burn the Ghost. Now has to flash as he's nearly 1 Q away from death. And Weibo have decided that JJ's going to be the response, looking for a dive here. The stun lands into the flag and drag. That was beautifully comboed. Viper flashes trying to find a trade, but it's a sick dodge coming out from Urha. And all of a sudden, Weibo come out with first blood. And it's going to be so fun to watch these two go blow for blow as the series goes on. But for now, we have the Dragon being started here by Weibo. Piercing arrow from Viper. Not going to go for the steal, and it's just going to be secured by JJ. Poke damage comes out onto Elk, but it's Weibo still playing very proactive in the early game. Zika certainly against top lane traditions would also maybe try and find himself an avenue to leave the lane, but back over to why this Yorick pick works is you can see that Zika has constantly been farming under his turret, especially now that Ben has access to that Maiden. So the early thing to track for top lane is going to be how does Zika find himself a way out. On is looking for a nice little tether into the Chains of Corruption. Has to force out the barrier from Elk. There are no ultimate on this Yunara. But Elk is able to walk back out thanks to Urha's peel. And now Xiaohu and JJ, they're looking for the Realm Warp in. Shun is in the area, but this is a 4v3. And now a 4v2 is Viper and On are going to use the portal to get themselves all the way out. On gets knocked up and hit into the Rune Prism. But he still doesn't take enough damage. Finally, Elk will step up and find that second kill. Good little try there from On with the Bard Trickery, but it's a 2-0 Elk Yunara to open our game. And mostly doing that through turret plates or maybe a creative dive here with cease and desist up. That cancel back might screw over Zika, but it's okay. JJ's here to cover. Weaver's Wall comes across, and hey, it's still a numbers advantage over BLG. There is the slicing Maelstrom, the stuns land, but the seismic shove comes across first, and Knight's able to flash out despite the turret aggro. They won't find the second kill onto JJ, but the fact they're able to come away with a 1-0 dive like that is promising. This was spotted by Weibo. They at least saw him take the skull. They have to think, all right, he could go after the grubs right after, but JJ instead clearing out some vision in the mid lane. They're going to catch On, trying to roam on over. Zenith Blade's going to bring Erha over the portal. He puts down the Solar Flare as well. On going to get rooted up thanks to Xiao, who should be able to find this very critical kill. So BLG dominating the top side, but it's Weibo's scaling units that have all 3 kills. Yeah, but with Slicing Maelstrom, it makes a dive even 2 versus 1 very, very cautious.
How about 3?
So they make it a 3v1. Yeah, good call there, Blocks. They're going to bring Knight right back on over. Sika's going to go into the Lightning Rush, get some move speed. Good dodge on that first Q, but it's the seismic shove of Knight that is the death warrant of Zika, no matter how much of a miss that was from Shun.
Yeah, I mean, we could say miss, we could say dodge. Either way, it's still just going to be the door slamming shut with Knight right there. And I really like what BLG are doing. They found a lane they can play through. They keep going for it. Erha looking to get aggressive. I wonder if you can wait a second. Yeah, for someone to go away.
Perfect time
Lovely.
from Urha. His Zenith Blades have been so on point. And who's going to be the real victor of it? Not just Weibo. More importantly, Xiaohu, who is now 2-0. Both of Weibo's main carries super accelerated.
And that's just going to be a repeat gank angle if you can look for it. You've obviously got quite a lot of aggressive picks from BLG that can go try to hunt onto Xiaohu if he finds himself stood a little bit too far forwards. We've now got ourselves a minute until the Rift Herald is going to be popping up, and you'd love to be able to grab yourself the Rift Herald right here as BLG. Begin taking down these towers, unlock Bin to get himself into some other lanes, and just keep the pressure on going.
Oh my god.
Elk.
He had no clue. He must have been sitting in that brush for nearly a minute, and Elk is going to burn his barrier flash and ult. He had no idea until he was dead. Great find there between Shun and Knight.
You're now not going to have this flash for these 2 big fights that could well be game-defining.
Oh, that was a game-defining turret take. First turret down thanks to Bin. And we're starting to settle into that classic BLG playstyle that have really set them apart here. It's kind of perfect, right? Blocks are exactly how these 2 drafts we wanted to see them play out. It's a lot of turrets and, Void Grubs and Heralds here on the top side. Oh, hold on. This TP, oh man, Bin. No idea that both Urha and JJ are here. He flashes out of at least the Solar Flare, gets trapped in the Cataclysm, but the turret's doing a lot of work here. Xiaohu down about half HP. They have to TP Zika in with the Slicing Maelstrom. 3 versus 1 wasn't good enough. 4 versus 1 will get the job done.
Yeah, just a little bit of a brain switched off moment right there from Bin. He's gonna die down in the bottom side of the map. Still, it does mean that you concede out onto the Rift Herald.
Well, this is a big point here for Weibo, though. That conversation I was trying to have earlier about how the game's going well for both teams, and this Dragon take would be big. Tempered Fate from on, he's going to stall it out. Knight puts down the Weaver's wall. Herald's in here, so Shun can get himself out, but can he win the 50-50? No! It's Elk that secures the Dragon. Shun goes in with a cease and desist, but he doesn't have any help. Xiaohu and Elk just turn it right back onto him. Through the portal goes JJ, maybe a bit too audaciously. He's going to flag a Dragon and flash himself back out. Zika eats a huge piercing arrow. Flashes forward coming across here from On. Gets the kill onto JJ. Slow starting to stack. Xiaohu has to run with the phase rush. And Viper can't get close enough for any of these big piercing arrows.
Okay.
And that's the big. But how many more members are behind Shun? That's the real question. Yep, it's everybody but Bin. Please don't fight over a red buff. All right, Urha wants to do it. He goes in, is going to get stunned up, chained up from Viper. The Tempered Fate lands on Xiaohu and JJ in the background. Good play there from On. Cease and Assist comes across into the seismic shove combo. Great little pick to find there by On. Does he go too far forward the portal? He runs into Elk, fully transcended, who gets the free hit on the Knight, but there isn't enough damage to make that a punish. Great find from On and BLG to clap right back.
You say great find, and I mean, they did capitalize well on what they were presented, but classic LPL moment right here from Weibo. Urha decides, yeah, we're going to go fight over the red buff. Now they're going to try to turn things around, and Bin, he should have known that something was coming. He's been here for so long.
I mean, yeah, he needs to understand that he is the clear only play left. All of BLG are on the top side. And that is one of the big problems we've had with some of Bin's gameplay this year, getting caught for very little. At the very least, Viper redeems it by getting a very valuable Tier 2 turret down,
And for a BLG down soul point, it's so important to body block Weibo out of this quadrant of the map as much as possible.
Weibo know that this could really be the cherry on top of their scaling composition if they can pick up this Dragon. They're trying to force their way in through the bottom side, but the flanks have already been set up. Look how high up Shun is. They spot Zika on the mid wave. So BLG have to feel pretty confident that they have control around this pit. Do they want to try and force a fight? They know it's 4v5 before that TP can come across. At the very least, they're going to start up the Dragon. Bring the aggro on over. JJ, the king of steals, it feels like in this LPL split. Can he go for this one? Weaver's Wall's going to block him. They go after On instead. And Weibo, I think they're just going to sack this Dragon. JJ goes for it, does not get it, and pays with his life. Too little, too late there from JJ. And it might cost Weibo a whole lot more than Soul Secure.
Yeah, I mean, this turnaround instantaneously from BLG heading straight on towards the Baron. You can see resets coming on through. It's quicker to just head back to base and sprint back out with home guards. Now, as much as you have lost your jungler, you can potentially still fight this one. Realm Warp in, they're going to go.
Yeah, they don't have Zika's TP for the flank. He's going to try and walk his way in. They don't have a smite. They have to look for this fight over thanks to the resistance shred. Zika needs a big slicing maelstrom. He's going to try and go in. Gets the flash. Goes after Viper. Immediate cleanse. Viper is out. Baron secured for BLG as the fight begins to break out. Big piercing arrow onto Zika. Xiaohu trying to kite back. Elk needs to do a lot of heavy lifting here, but Zika's already down. Elk tries to go after Oppo, uses the blast cone to get himself back out. Urha's down. All of Elk's teammates are falling around him, and there's nothing he can do to clean it up. It's On fighting the multi-kill, and Bilibili Gaming breaking open game one with an ace.
There we go, BLG. They find the fight, and it looked so bad for a second. Weibo were storming in. They'd taken a reset. They had all of the tools available to them, but the fight gets split.
BLG are up 6k gold and counting, knocking down turret after turret. And despite all of their woes in the early game, the part of the game where we felt they had to succeed in, they are now right where they wanted to be, in control of our first match.
25 minutes into the game, this is the peak of the BLG composition power. Now with the Baron buff available to them, they need to make sure they crack open the base and get themselves as much advantage as possible because, as we've been saying, right, Weibo, they have the scaling advantage. They're going to be getting further and further back into this game, but right now as BLG, you are in control, and you just have to make sure not to make any silly mistakes. Silly mistakes are why Weibo are in the position that they are in. You said about that play down in the bottom side of the map around the Dragon, and that was a bad play from them, but it's even further than that. It's fighting around that red buff for no reason that initially snapped any control they had. Good dodge from Erha.
Yeah, he's going to bring Solar Flare back out. JJ's going forward, but they've rooted up Elk, and they've trapped him. A beautiful Chains of Corruption. Viper says no need for your hyper carry. They do find a kill on the background. Urha very low as well, and it's Xiao Hu going right after Viper. He gets the Rune Prism down. He has the Seraph Shield to find that turret. Weibo doing some heavy lifting without their AD carry, but now they're sectioned off 2 parts apiece. JJ getting a good flag and drag, but Bin slams him down with the shovel, and he's gonna hunt him down with the ghouls and the maiden. Bin's revenge saves a messy fight for Bilibili Big Gaming.
Oh my lord, we were talking so much praise right here for Elk, but that's now 2 team fights in a row that he's not able to have the impact that he needs, and that is going to be the base cracked on open. Another one of the goals we've talked about for BLG winning this game has been ticked off, are able to walk on over. This team can fight back, and BLG, they've shown us a couple throws here and there, right? No gold lead is fully out of range in the LPL. So you do have to very much keep on watching this one, as Weibo, they're going to be looking for any available opportunity to go on in.
The math is checking out on that one.
Indeed.
Ben is certainly finding his peak effectiveness right now as he is playing decoy, dummy on the bot side, push, 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 because my team is pushing the attack onto this Baron. And Weibo, I mean, they have an inkling.
Is it just gone?
But JJ doesn't get anywhere near this. The tempered fade from On is perfectly timed just in case there was any sort of 50-50. BLG are going to get this Baron. Weibo are going to make it a problem to try and get a fight on the backside, but it's a portal out from On, and BLG can just exit stage right. Weibo really sputtering to find any sort of play on the map. They're going to trade a Baron for a tier 1 turret mid lane.
Yeah, and I mean, they might get collapsed upon right here. Need to be careful to get away. They don't, even pick themselves up this mid lane tier 1 tower. And Jun Huntin potentially looking to just press ulti and go flying in. Needs to be careful. Pretty squishy at the moment, although, of course, it does have the GA.
Yeah. You kind of throw caution to the wind when you pick up the GA. Still looking forward. Knight gets the Weaver's Wall down, but all the carries get on the right side of it. And we'll back up towards the base, but BLG, they are not letting off the gas. They're putting pedal to the metal as they'll finally look to try and knock down some inhibitors. And, well, they've got a wave aptly placed in the top side as well. Weibo will sack the mid lane inhibitor to try and protect these side turrets. But, again, they're going to stretch thin. Top turret is going to stay up, but bottom tier 3 goes down. Are they going to look for a play onto Bin? No, Zika doesn't even get close enough with that lightning rush. Weibo are just bleeding, and at some point, when are you going to fight back as that cornered animal?
Look at the poke coming through right here. Between Knight and Viper, they are constantly landing that
Elk.
poke.
They get onto Elk, but Zika goes forward with a huge slicing maelstrom. Viper has to cleanse, flash himself back out. The Cataclysm goes down, onto On. Zika finds that first kill, and now Elk can step up. He's starting to pump up the damage with his Transcendence. Sun goes into the stasis, but he is as good as dead. BLG, they poked the beast a little bit too much, and now Weibo are looking for more. There's the Realm War forward, but a huge piercing arrow from Viper makes it a problem. JJ gets the flag and drag. Bin knocked up. Elk finally joining the fight, trying to be the big damage, but Viper gets Xiao Hu over the wall, and Bin flashes out to safety. Everybody overexerting themselves, but Weibo may have gotten themselves a lifeline in their own base.
Yeah, they're going to sprint on out. They're looking to pick themselves up this soul point. Still, look in their base right here. They've got super minions knocking on the doors. The TP, they're going to look to end.
TP coming across. That's Bin. He's going all the way after the base, and Viper stalling out all of Weibo. They gambled after the dragon, and they're going to trade soul for the game. Giga Bin with the Giga TP to get BLG a 1-0 lead.
Oh, Slayer, when we said that this was going to be a banger of a game, when we said it was going to be a banger of a game, holy. Not recognizing that you've got yourself super minions in base, even if they hadn't have had that teleport come in from Bin, I think the super minions might still win the game.
I mean, I'm trying to think back. I think once he actually landed, I'm going to try our bottom lane that had some high highs and some low lows. And now we get to see the ingenuity here from On. He gets to match up against it. And his answer is the Shen support. What a draft, Blockster. This feels like a game 4 or 5 Fearless draft. But no, we're game 2. Obviously an extra ability to Arha on this Elise, but the Cocoon's going to go wide. And Viper says, all right, On, we're stepping right up. He'll speed up. They're going to force Elk to flash away from a taunt. And the trap will not land in trade. Elk already down. This flash is a problem. And they're starting to multiply, especially as Shun goes for this wraparound, and nobody's put any vision down yet. Elk is flashless. He is in imminent danger, and we'll finally realize it when it becomes light. He's going to connect for the slow. Good Cocoon there from Arha. Flash forward from On. He gets the taunt onto Arha. He goes into the repel, flashes away, but Shun follows the flash of his own. First blood is found, but here comes the cavalry. JJ how do you find this cleanup? There's a lot of summoners down, but Elk can't really step up. The vision is really bad for him. He's going to jump right on top of Shun. Can't even find that trade kill. Another trunk clutch taunt from On, and they'll go 1 for 1. Elk tries to cleanse off some of the slows from this Ashe, but Viper follows forward, and Viper finds the 3rd kill. 2.5 minutes in, we have 4 deaths on the board. It's in full order now for this game, too, especially now the bottom lane has a lot more of the pressure alleviated. But as I say that, JJ is looking for a dive in revenge, but Shun is here to cover.
They don't know he's
JJ
here.
gets into the brush in time, but Shun, there he is. He went around to trick JJ. He's going to pounce on Viper, but he cleanses the stun. Oh, man, Shun and BLG are reading Weibo like a book right now.
That was really nice right there for Shun. Just knew that there was going to be more aggression down towards the bottom side of the map. Both junglers investing a lot of time down there.
You know about reverse jinxes. Come on. I was playing the long...
Okay.
Nah, I'm kidding. You're right. You caught me. You caught me. I was not excited for this Ashe pickup. But hey, he's making it work. Oh my god, guys, there are other lanes on the map showing. Has this guy even finished his clear? I mean, who needs to clear camps when you're clearing out champions? Elk dies for a 2nd time. Shun has set up a permanent residence at this bot side. It's so hard. You really just can't walk it off. You have to use the net, the repel, but even that can't get you out of the spot. And I want to give more praise over to On for the Shen pick, but first we're going to have a mid lane appearance. Nice chains coming across from Knight here. Xiaohu doesn't even have a chance to flash away. To talk more about the Shen pickup.
Yeah.
If I keep saying talk about the Shen, will Shun just show up where I'm looking? Oh, there's the Ashe arrow. The ultimate advantage. Flash for flash. Arha gets away this time from the taunt. JJ's coming in with the Grand Starvable. Shun's already taken down Elk. JJ jumps on top of Viper. Arha can't even find that trade. Viper flashes away just in the nick of time. And now JJ has no chance to find that trade kill. Knight covers with Xiaohu trying to roam down to cover for this bottom lane. But it's a toxic wasteland for Weibo. They can't do anything right on this side of the map. And it's Xiaohu that has to use the Between Worlds to once again back away from bottom lane. Gromp, we're going to make a stand here. Or are they? Because they know On's over the wall. They don't know where Viper is. They now finally mark Knight. The Gromp's going to reset. Shun goes forward with a little bit of a Wind Becomes Lightning combo, but just a little poking and prodding. We are really fighting all out on this Gromp. Viper gets the slow arrows onto Arha. He has to go up into the repel. He's going to come down the same spot. Crescent Guard to come down from Shun. That means no, Elk. You don't get to push any damage through. It's all for my Pookie Viper, who picks up one of the 2 kills as BLG continue the route. For the Shen pick. Now seeing it on the map, I realize why it's just so broken into that Caitlyn Elise, and so cool to see him understand the matchup that he's played so much. Oh, hey, Ultimate Chicken. I was waiting for it to make an appearance. Oh, it's not Ultimate Chicken. There's a top laner here. There's also a support coming, by the way. Here's On. Stand United. Hey, guys. Heard we wanted to 2v2 in this top side. And Arha thinking, all right, hold on. Support's got to be a part of this. I'm going to look for the dive. There's the cocoon landed. They're going to dive after On. He gets the taunt onto Arha. Zika flashes after Bin. Arha goes after him with the repel. They do get the kill onto On, and JJ's going to hop right on top of Bin. Weibo making things work on the side of the map they're allowed to play the game on. Yeah, and he's going to go mini.
JJ's playing the long game.
Yeah, he's going to pounce right as he goes mini. And you see, all right. Okay, at some point, JJ, we have to go. I mean, Zika, I know he has dominance, but you're giving away health. Guys, can we pounce on him already? Oh my god, he hopped out of stun range, and now he got back under turret. Zika's going to go after him, slice and dice, goes into the dominance, and this time we'll have enough health to get it done, but that was way closer than it needed to be. All right, Shun. Are we going to really test our power here? 1 versus 2. He's going to flash, the Wind Becomes Lightning. He goes right in after Zika. Crescent Guard, but he doesn't have enough damage to get Zika. Won't be able to find that trade kill. Still wants to go 1 versus 2, cycling the cooldowns.
He's got Knight.
Boy. Here comes the big bad Knight, and Stand United on. He's like, I'm here to take up tower for you guys. Down goes Zika, and JJ will be next to fall. It was all an elaborate ruse by Shun to get BLG the real trade. Are we going to really test our power here? 1 versus 2. He's going to flash, the Wind Becomes Lightning. He goes right in after Zika. Crescent Guard, but he doesn't have enough damage to get Zika. Won't be able to find that trade kill. Still wants to go 1 versus 2, cycling the cooldowns.
He's got Knight.
Boy. Here comes the big bad Knight, and Stand United on. He's like, I'm here to take up tower for you guys. Down goes Zika, and JJ will be next to fall. It was all an elaborate ruse by Shun to get BLG the real trade.
You make a play, you get a kill, you get out instantly. Bot lane might now be under threat as well.
This is Knight. He's going to TP right into a trap, into a cocoon. Hello, Knight! That was a very audacious TP. Bin's going to run down Elk. He's going to try and flash into the brush, but that brush has vision on it. Viper's come over from the mid lane. Bin with a big Gnar bar. As TP's galore come out, Xiaohu has TP'd in from the minion wave as JJ shows up. Between Worlds comes down. Xiaohu has to hop away. Only's going to flash, get the top down, and now Viper can let these arrows sing. Weibo, even when they feel like they have the punish BLG, it just feels like they're playing 6-on-5 right now.
Absolutely, the map is just so much smaller for Weibo, and JJ is also going to get tagged up by that Wind Becomes Lightning. Should just about be able to get himself under tower. Jun, though, he thinks he can keep going.
Oh my god, Shun! Turrets are just a little added speed bump in the way towards more kills. Arha's going to go down, and BLG are at an efficient kill a minute in this game, too.
And they can just keep the pace of this game high. Knight as well, taking a good chunk out of Zika. Does have himself the ultimate available, so should be able to keep stepping on forwards. Knight, bit of a weird TP down towards the bottom side of the map, but clearly not able to be punished by Weibo. Is Zika dead?
I mean, no, he's going to have to pop Dominus, but, I mean...
If Elk isn't there, I think you still die through Dominus.
Well, I guess we'll never have to really test that one out. Side is starting to throw some emotes out. Say hello to his former teammate. Good to see they're a little bit cordial as his former mid laner is giving a shellacking towards his team. Double distorts on top of him. Just let him know he means business.
Only a 500 gold lead, so Elk has done a really good job of keeping himself at least toe-to-toe, picking up a couple of kills, doing well in terms of CS. And a Caitlyn who's doming people can be something to try to play around. Same thing with Xiaohu, right? He still does a lot of damage, a lot of burst is available.
He is nearly perfect on the neutral objectives. He let one grub go to the wayside, but outside that, first two dragons are his, Rift Herald's his. The world is Shun's oyster. And back to what we talked about in the pre-show, right? We talked about Shun, how he's such a good complementary piece to the aggressive playstyle BLG want to play through their lanes, but I'm glad that he's reminding everybody, and more importantly Weibo, that when he wants to, he can turn that star power on himself.
Yeah, I mean, why not, right? Show up in this situation. If you've got all of these great carries around you, well, sometimes you can just take it on.
Oh,
Boy, that is...
my God. All right. All right, Viper has aimbot. Riot, help.
What? Completely blind snipe. During draft phase, I said, hey, if Viper's feeling good, if he's got those snipes on right here, this Ashe can just completely take over a game through pick potential. Well, it hasn't needed to do it through pick potential previously. You could just walk at people and fight. Can you one-shot him? No. Can Knight one-shot him? Maybe. But I do think they need to be a little bit careful. The Renekton probably the only person at this point who can stand up to that level of damage.
Oh my god, Knight's setting a trap. They saw Xiaohu. They're going to use Bin to bait in, like, oh, it's a 1v2, it's a 1v2. Psych, it's actually a 2v2, make it a 3v2. Oh my god, it doesn't even show up before Knight deletes Zika. And Xiaohu, well, he doesn't get one shot, but he gets cut down by Shun. Weibo, none of the map is theirs. Everywhere they go, BLG are waiting, and now they've started Baron on spawn. 5 versus 3. Jeje, Arha, and Elk have to find a way to walk in. Arha misses the flash cocoon on the bin, and Knight's over the wall. Oh my god, he's trying to delete Elk, but he gets spotted. Ace in the hole back over. Bin's going to block it, but remember, the Soul Lanes are just playing bodyguard because right now BLG are taking a 20-minute Baron. Bin will die to the burst from this trio out of Weibo. And Knight does an interesting distort. Oh no, they're going to go after him for that. His distort's on cooldown. All right, let's see how slippery this LeBlanc can be. There's the clone up. Knight's trying to trick them. He's going to distort away. JJ's going to flash after him, and JJ will find that shutdown. So Bilibili's Soul Laners do a little bit of griefing, but it is a Baron still for their squad.
And they're already out to a massive advantage off the back of that initial Baron take. Now looking to open up the base in the mid lane. Pretty close to doing so, although may just have to back away now as the remaining members of Weibo take it to our top lane, take a reset, and now coming back out onto the map, looking to compete over this Drake.
Yeah, I don't know if there's any competition going here. I think it's just Shun and Viper slaying a beast for fun. And that's what they'll do. They'll get onto Ocean Soul Point at 22 minutes after taking the first Baron of the game at 21.5 minutes. And we are still on that blistering pace for BLG to take themselves a 2-0 lead. And at this point, viewers, just sit back, relax, and watch some sick Ashe arrows and Knight doing this. Yep, that's a half health Elise going bye-bye. Thanks,
yeah, I mean,
Flame.
the Elise really has just not brought you anything so far in this game, and you have to imagine it's not going to be turned back on. Bin now potentially getting caught out on the side lane, although Bin still in a relatively strong spot, will try to make his way back away, a hop away. He's getting his Narbar up. I'm
watching the Stand United cooldown. Oh, it's up in 10 seconds. I don't think... Oh, he goes Mega. Can he ult him off of him? Yes, he can. Does he have a hop in store? He has a slow. Oh, the Pierce of the Lance doesn't have enough damage. Bin just walks it out. He doesn't even need all.
And
guess what On's doing? Yep.
Yeah, look at the rest of the map. That's going to be the bot lane tier 3 tower falling and the inhibitor soon to follow. The remaining members of Weibo trying desperately to defend their base, but they're now going to be contending with super minions pouring on in as well. And BLG, they aren't even done.
Grand Starfall, they're trying to make it a 5v4, but Shun covers enough for 3 men on his own. This Crescent Guard backs off all of Weibo, and he has the GA as Knight, eviscerates Arha. Cover for the dive as well, On doesn't even die as Shun comes out of the GA, does get pop up between worlds, but it's too little, too late. Viper spaces beautifully with his flash, and Knight gets to clean up all the rest of the kills with his Gnar next to him. Ash Arrow just makes sure that Xiao, who has to burn his last dash cooldown, which will be his flash, and the mid laners will go blow for blow in the jungle for pride alone, because the headline here is BLG might have just had their most dominant game of 2026 to put themselves on series point with a date against JD Gaming on the horizon.
That's it, 11,000, nearly 12,000 gold, the advantage at the end of that team fight. And I don't know if you were watching the player cams as that game was ending out, but On was laughing and smiling. He was very happy.
Viper plays really well, Knight does a good job, but like they do not win a 24-minute game if they do not have Shun on this roster.
No, absolutely not. And looking at the gold graph right here, that is a steady climb up towards the mountain.
Blocks her Nefiri into Wukong. Wukong is very powerful, but into how BLG won game 2, into how aggressive Shun is playing, confident as that player of the game in game 2. I love it. Why not? Play with that fire. Bring it over into the other game. Get this series done and dusted, Shun.
Indeed, and I've got to be honest, in the straight-up 1v1, the dog definitely wins. Hopefully for Arha, he's not going to be alone for any situations. Like you said during the draft, right, this should be very much getting poked out, pushed around right here in the bottom lane. The Yuumi really doesn't provide that much.
Ooh, nice exhaust onto Viper. Elk stepping forward, I guess, on Viper's melee range with Elk, and he's going to cut him down. First blood to Viper. Letting Elk know first team All-Pro should have been his. This is his league to run as the main marksman. We'll see how much of an everlasting effect that has on Shun's gameplay. Now that he doesn't have to worry about bottom lane, he can look for his own little trade. JJ, you just saw Knight off map. He roams right into it. JJ doesn't even flash. BLG are right back at it again. The full court press is dominating.
Play out your 1v1s. That's particularly devastating for a team like Weibo, who have had some very good 1v1 and 2v2 lanes for themselves previously. Elk and Arha have usually taken over lanes in the 2v2, but they're not winning them right now, and then even when they do, Jun gets involved.
Oh my god. It's a flash on to get the tether. Elk is dead again. Viper does not have mercy. All he's got is Mystic shots. He is putting on a show right now.
Exactly. Playoffs is exactly when you really want to be hitting that absolute peak of your momentum, and so far looking so good. As you've been saying, right, there's a dance with JDG available to whoever's able to win this series. At the moment, looking like BLG are going to be able to 2-0 and up. Jun taking himself that first Drake. All of the bottom lane pressure, all of the mid lane pressure coming on through right now means that these Drakes are going to be exceptionally easy to take.
Is this just not cyberbullying?
A little bit. I mean, at this point, this has got to be miserable to try to play out for Weibo. And we were talking about their mental state. What can you do to just shake off the previous game, get into this next one? And well, so far, the answer doesn't really seem to have come to Weibo either. At this point, you can just keep the pressure up. Jun hunting forwards, pushing on ahead with this Nefiri. Nefiri got a buff to the passive this patch as well, so he's actually in a pretty strong spot.
God. JJ, I mean, it's coming from all sides. Daggers from the top side. True shot barrage are right down Broad Street. And now the call of the pack comes out here from Shun. It forces out the exhaust from Arha just to try and protect Elk.
As the bot lane of BLG, you get to go back to base right now, complete your Trinity Force. Yeah, very close as well. Tier stacking's going through beautifully as well. Some booties in inventory for that extra level of survivability. Run back to lane, take that full tower potentially, and then just keep on going.
Oh my god. And Knight wanted in on the action, right? It's just a Q ult and walk away with style. The golden left hand.
This is not the Weibo we were seeing at the end of the split. Yes, BLG were their kryptonite. BLG have Weibo's number, but still, Weibo were able to fight back more than the last 2 games in those previous series. It feels like they're just getting outpaced across the map. This high-tempo, full-court press, if you've been calling it, is just so infuriating to play against. Yeah, you get Bin's ulti right here. Maybe you get a kill onto him, but getting kills onto Bin has not won you any of these games previously.
I mean, is this the game 2 script again? This is exactly what they did. They went 4-1 against Spin to try and dive him under the turret. It is going to work out, but I think Zika, all right, he gets the nice Kasante shield to get himself out. True Shot Barrage is a little bit too late. Weibo finally on the board. The perfect game is ruined.
Yep. But the win still very much in favor of BLG. 5,000 gold the advantage. There is that first tower being taken down on the bottom side of the map, and you could just keep on rolling now.
Don't
Knight
overstay.
moving up towards the top lane. Zika low. They are just about going to be able to back away.
I mean, they're going to have to give anything that's labeled neutral on the map over. It's not neutral anymore. It's BLG Void Grubs, BLG Dragons, BLG Rift Heralds. JJ is struggling to pick up camps, right?
Yeah.
The biggest win for Weibo here is arguably the fact...
No, and you've already got the Ludens completed right here as Knight, so he has a ton of threat back. You see how much respect Xiaohu is having to play with. Now potential dive once again onto Bin. You're going to lose a whole top lane tower for it, though.
This is a very tanky Scion. They see Shun show up, and they're like, all right, we got to back out. The dog's in the area, and they can't even make that play in all this time. Viper's been working down this top lane tier 1 turret. Elk fans, look away from the bottom lane goal difference.
I'm just waiting for this tower to go down to really see what it fully is. Yeah. It's a 3,000.
Yeah, okay.
It's going to be a 3,200 gold lead. It's going to be very close to 3,200.
Bloxer, can Weibo do this? Are they going to let him?
Yeah. I mean, I think so.
I don't think they're going to let him.
Power top lane. Shun,
please don't steal it.
Oh my god, he steals it.
He steals it. Oh, Weibo, man. It's a nightmare that just never ends. I mean, I'm running out of adjectives to describe how one-sided this matchup is getting. That's the beat down the BLG are putting down right now. They've knocked out all the tier 1 turrets before 14 minutes, and they're taking over the jungle as well. JJ, that dash is pretty audacious. On gets the tether. They do go all out from Zika, but On flashes away from him, and the unleashed power sends Zika packing back to base. The jungle is not yours anymore, JJ. The lanes aren't. Nothing is, Weibo. You want to get him safe farm. The Sivir needs it desperately, but now we're into the point where Knight's going to side lane, so you can't put the Sivir up against the Syndra unless they lay a trap with Elk. He gets away from the Sky of the Week. Knight immediately burns the Ghost because he knows all of the Weibo armies coming after him. They use the Yuumi ult. A great flash. Shuriman Shuffle finally gets Weibo a positive play. They get the shutdown from Knight right onto Elk. There's something positive here of WBG.
They've got something. That's a little bit of gold back, right? You are going to lose out on the top side of the map.
Wait for the bigger buffs to come on the board. Baron, 3.5 minutes. I mean, it might be a 20-minute Baron take, and they'll get on to Mountain Soul Point way before that.
Yeah, I mean, the only saving grace is that in the LPL, no gold lead is safe, but you are certainly trying to make one so here is BLG. Mid lane tier 2 tower is just going to be taken out by the charge of the Rift Herald. I don't think anybody's going to ride the Rift Herald a second time towards tower. Probably just away. Yep. Oh no, actually is deciding to go on in. They are.
Oh, on. All right, you know what? We got to give him some grief. Oh no, but the Scout of the Week from Knight, they don't even get the trade on to On. It's a beautiful usage of the orbs from the Syndra for Knight, and On's transgression. His driver's license may be revoked, but at least he has his own life thanks to his mid laner.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still going to claim that I was correct and you shouldn't have gone in, but
you were.
On deciding to test the limits, and yeah, to be fair, he did not end up dying. We weren't expecting this to just be complete domination from the bot lane of BLG, but that has been what skewed the whole rest of the map. Yeah, Knight's been playing well, Jun had an incredible game too, but the fact that the bot lane are playing this well means there's nothing else to do for Weibo.
It felt like that was the matchup that was the most up in the air, right? You expect Knight to, even to Xiao, who's in a bit better form, garner leads in that aspect to favor Bin against Zika. It was, all right, can Elk and Arha go blow to blow with Viper and On? Like, that's a star-studded bottom lane matchup, especially in the All-Pro votes conversation. And as you pointed out, that has been the strongest gap for BLG, and this is the type of series you get with those other lanes going as expected. I mean, the brigade forward continues. It's the top lane tier 2 turret taken down. BLG, I mean, what do Weibo do? Is JJ thinking like Hail Mary Baron? He's trying to get maybe a deep flank. It's just so hard to do anything. I guess it was the latter. JJ is trying to go for this deep flank onto the mid lane with Own and Viper, but they'll just simply slide on over to the BLG strong side, which is Knight looking to solo out Zika. The all-out does get him enough damage away from the Unleashed Power, but the Scout of the Week is so precise here, and it's an unpowered arcane shift forward from Viper that gets himself a 5th kill. Weibo trying to collect back with a big flake from JJ, but another scatter is going to chunk JJ down to about half. He doesn't even get the Cyclone out. Knight cuts him down to size with 1 Q. Xiaohu doesn't even get to arrive to the party. Elk is getting body blocked here from Bin. And there's just nothing Weibo can do to break this titanic wall that is Bin and BLG behind him. Domination once again. Knight showing off why a lot of these mid laners have been taking ghosts in these games, right? The fact that he can just maneuver around this all in from Zika. Ooh, pick on to Knight himself from JJ. Here's a 400 HP shield here from On. I got you, buddy. And Viper will come in to finish off that kill. JJ down, and even if he was up, I think BLG go for this Baron. Now it's Baron's death warrant has been signed.
Absolutely it has, and you're just going to have to try for some kind of miracle steal right here as Weibo. I don't know if you can even just afford to concede it still. With Xiaohu down on the bottom side of the map, do you have the numbers to try? What can you throw over? One boomerang to try to steal this one away? I mean, maybe.
We're trying to circle on to BLG now. Xiaohu teleport off to the top side. They're going to try and go after Viper. Let's see how slippery he can be on this Ezreal, because Zika has him cornered. The all-out pulls Viper over the wall. He flashes back over, and Xiaohu will finally find that kill. They get rid of the big Viper, and it's Xiaohu that does pick up that 2nd kill. They sacrifice Elk and Arha to do so, but for now, Weibo do stop the Baron play. The Baron dance can always come back through for BLG, but for now, with all the control on this bot side, they are going to get an uncontested 24-minute Mountain Soul.
Yeah, and I mean, what can you even slightly do about it? The Mountain Soul as well, I feel like is one of the better souls you can get here as BLG. The fact that you've now got yourself that extra level of survivability. They get outpaced bot lane. JJ dies, and the series was well and truly done and dusted at that point. I mean, it's going to take a miracle intervention right here for Weibo to be able to fight back in this one.
Oh boy, they're taking the Baron on one side. I thought they might look for a play there on to Elk, but Bin will just stand tall in the mid lane with about 10 bajillion HP. Now he's looking to turn with the ensemble onslaught. The Baron's going to be picked up. Beautiful ult into the scatter combo. The Storm Surge gets the kill there down on to JJ. And now the slows are starting to stack. Elk pops the Ghost. The ultimate needs the final champ from the Yui, but the scatter of the weak finds its mark again from Knight. And down goes Elk. Goodbye to your first team All-Pro 80 carry. But that was in the regular season. The postseason is a whole different beast. And Shun is ready to play in the playoffs for BLG. Down goes Xiaohu, and it's the final march here for BLG. You look up the word domination in the dictionary. Today, you'll see a picture of BLG. The team set up to potentially be the big bad of the LPL international stage just made a statement win, a statement sweep over Weibo Gaming to let not just the league, but the world know this is what the peak of Bilibili Gaming looks like in 2026. It's only a matter of kills to find as they knock down Zika, get rid of JJ, and find the kill onto Arha. The most dominating series of the playoffs belongs to BLG as they 3-0 to send Weibo down to the lower bracket and have a date with JDG.
This JDG BLG matchup is going to be insane. It's going to be such a fun matchup to watch.